Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, good evening, Facebook family. Welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Brian+Post. Happy freaking fabulous Friday, everyone. Freaking fabulous Friday. Freaking fabulous Friday. I'm here in Redding, California, coming to you from the offices of Lilliput Children's Services. So very excited to be here, spending some time with these fine folks and meeting with some other individuals. I just wanted to pop on here. It's a little early, but I've got a 4:30 appointment, so I wanted to go ahead and get on here and talk to you guys for just a moment. I had a question that came in not too long ago from Name, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. And then also I just had a conversation with another parent about some challenges that they're going through, and the question Name posed was, where do you start? Where do you start healing? And so she's read some of the videos, and she's like, I see you say, hey, Kirsten, hey, Carrie. She says she's, listened to some of the videos and heard where I say that parents have to start with healing their own trauma. And that's very important. And before I get into that, just let me make sure I mention today's sponsor. And our week-long sponsor is weightedbydesign.com, the best maker in weighted blankets for children and adults in the United States, the finest handcrafted weighted blankets that you're going to be able to find. And I am somewhat of an authority in weighted blankets. You wouldn't know that because I don't talk about them a great deal, but I've been dealing with weighted blankets for probably the better part of 10 years, and I've never used a better one and found a better, higher quality than the ones that are created by Weighted by Design. So if you're in the market for a weighted blanket for your oxytocin needs, for your stress and anxiety reduction, I really encourage you to check out www.weightedbydesign.com. So the question is, where do you start? Now, I want to preface this by saying that we don't oftentimes realize, hey there, Jessica, hey, Mickey, we don't realize that when we are struggling, this is very important, that when times are the most challenging, that you actually have the greatest opportunity in that space, in that moment, to create the biggest breakthroughs, to bring about the greatest change, to work through the deepest trauma, because it is in the midst of the struggle that the brainstem is actually the most open, and it is the trauma, it's the past pain, it's the past experience, the past history and emotions that have been planted there in the brainstem that are now being stirred up and awakened, and that's what's driving the challenges, that's what's driving the anxiety, that for your children, that's maybe what's driving their behaviors, which is then triggering anxiety and stress and overwhelm for you as the parent, which then means it's opening up your brainstem, and your pain and your challenges are now getting stirred up and brought about. So I just want to make sure I say that. But then there's the question of where do you start? And here's the I want to try to make this as simple as possible. Now, you always start, number one, first and foremost, by taking a deep breath. Taking a deep breath is the first place that you start, because all the pain you've experienced tells you that you are at risk. The traumas you've experienced tell you that you are at risk and potentially that you are going to die. When your brainstem is open and it is releasing those emotions and releasing those memories, all of those emotions and memories are tied into survival experiences. So they're tied into a survival energy. And you guys know that I talk about love and fear. So those emotions are tied into survival, and so you're in survival in that moment, and what you do is you stop breathing. The first thing you've got to do is you've got to slow down, sit down, and take some deep breaths, okay? reclaim as much as you can in that moment. Reclaim your own power. Reclaim the control over your life, because otherwise those old experiences and those old emotions, they take control of you, and they make you feel helpless. They make you feel victimized. They make you feel like you're being held hostage to your own experience. And a lot of times we project that out on others that may be bringing about that triggering within us, but it's really not about those others. It's about what's being stirred up within us. So slow down and regain, get centered, get present. Who's the shot? Peter Levine, author of Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma, talks about shock trauma, talks about how it takes us over, takes us out of our body, and the importance of getting present. So get present. That's the first thing. Getting resourced is another very important thing. Finding things in your day-to-day experience, and I'm just talking about in the moment where you get started. Finding things that get you feeling grounded, get you feeling present, and get you feeling connected. Maybe that's listening to a song. Maybe that's listening to a favorite food. Maybe that's taking a hot bubble bath. Maybe that's going for a walk. Maybe that's calling up your closest friend and talking to them and connecting to them. And maybe you don't talk to them so much about the trauma. Maybe you just talk to them and hear their voice. You have a little laugh. You get really present. So getting resource, slowing down, getting resource, what these things do is they bring your thinking back online. They bring your short-term memory back online. And when that happens, you're able to be more clear and more concise. Now, the third thing, anytime you're working through trauma, you're working through painful emotions, and you're working through emotions that make you feel the same age as when you experienced them. I'm going to say that again. Anytime you're working through trauma, you are working with emotion, and you are working with emotion that makes you feel the same age that you were when you experienced it. So you may be 46 years old now, but you may be dealing with an emotion that actually turns on a memory that's connected to when you were an infant, or 3 years old, or 5, or 10, or 15, or 20. And that's exactly where you feel in that moment. So here's what I want you to do. Number one, I want you to think seriously. Think seriously about finding a therapist that is able to support you emotionally. Find a therapist who specializes in some level of somatic therapy, some kind of expressive therapies. And expressive therapy could be art. Expressive therapy could be dance. Expressive therapy could just be an emotional therapy. So find a therapist. Potentially find a therapist that can help you. Now, not everyone has access to a therapist, so I want to go ahead and put that out there for you. The other thing I want you to do, so I've already identified that. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to start writing about what the experience was. You start writing about the experience, because the moment you start writing about the experience, you're externalizing it. You're taking it from inside of you and you're putting it outside of you. And what that does is that gives you an opportunity to automatically have more conscious control, because so much of trauma is unconscious. Number two, what I want you to do with that is I want you to find a block of time in the day, preferably and for sure once, maybe even twice in the day, and I want you to read that experience. And I want you to put your hands on somewhere on your body, your throat or your chest or your stomach, wherever the anxiety shows up. And I want you to breathe into it. And I want you to say, how did that make me feel? And I want you to allow yourself to breathe into that feeling and feel that feeling. It's not enough to just journal, because journaling can be, even though there's emotions attached to it, it can be a very cognitive process. So you've got to feel those feelings. And then number three, I want you to think about and put this at the bottom of the journal. So you journal the painful experience, and then at the bottom of the journal, put a line, and I want you to write, what are the things that are happening in my life today with my child, with other people, with my spouse, with my partner, that make me feel this. So you make a list of those things, those situations that make me feel arrow up here. And I want you to really breathe into that and really honor that. That's number 3. Number 4, I want you to talk to someone about the experience and how the experience made you feel. See, a lot of times we have experiences and then we don't talk about them. If you don't have an opportunity to talk to someone about it, you're not giving yourself an opportunity to process, and you're not giving yourself an opportunity to make sense of it. And that's what we all have to do when we experience a traumatic event. The way you heal trauma is you have to be able to talk about it. You have to be able to express through it, cry, process, be angry, grieve, be sad, whatever it may be, and you have to be able to make sense of it. Those are the 3 things that you have to do. So I want you to journal it. I want you to make a specific time to feel the feelings associated with what you journal. And then I want you to make the connection of what's showing up today that's triggering these feelings. And then I want you to talk to someone about it. And that can be anyone. You've got to talk to someone. So I want you to start doing that process. That's where you're going to start healing your own trauma. Now, if you're a parent and you're getting overwhelmed by your child's behaviors, it's another great opportunity. Slow down, do your breathing, get your thinking online, get your short-term memory activated again, slow your heart rate down, and ask yourself this question. Ask your body a question. Number 1, how am I feeling right now? How am I feeling right now? Number 2, when was the first time I felt that way? How am I feeling right now? When is the first time I felt that way? How am I feeling right now? When is the first time I felt that way? And your brain, your cognitive brain is going to want you to stay on the surface in the moment, in the present. But I don't want you going there. I want you going into the feeling. I want you to go into how you're feeling right now. And I want you to identify when you felt that way before in a past situation. Once you do that, I want you to breathe into it. I want you to feel that feeling even more connected to that past experience. And I want you to do that as often as you need to until that experience starts to release itself. And the way it's going to release itself is it's going to stop being so unconscious and it's going to start being more conscious. Taking traumatic experiences that are buried in the unconscious and making them more conscious is how we regain control over painful things that have happened in our lives. So good. I'm glad that's helpful for you, Naima. So I hope that's enough. I'm not going to give you any more than that. That we can just try to do too much. I want you to do basic. I want you to dial it down. Basic. I've given you plenty to start with. Let's go from there. Work on that. Do it this evening. Do it this weekend. And then once you've done that, take care of yourself. Do something special for you. Even if it's 5 minutes, do something special for you. Eat some special food. Take a nap. Watch your favorite movie. Listen to music. Talk to your favorite person. Watch some comedy. Do something fun. Go eat some ice cream. Do something fun. Try to balance out some of that stress with a little bit of joy, because that's when you're releasing oxytocin. And then slowly but surely you're realizing that you're gaining more and more control over your experiences instead of your experiences gaining control over you. Remember, guys, in any given situation, we always have 2 choices. We can continue to react from our same blueprints of stress and fear and overwhelm, or we can stop, breathe with me, take 3 to 10 deep breaths, and we can choose love. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much, Jessica. You are a special gift. You are a special gift. God bless each and every one of you. Big Papa loves you. I hope you have a really, really good weekend, and I will see you on Monday.